Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. After lots of requests, here it is, how to make sushi. We're going to start out with rice. We got some nice premium fancy sushi rice. We're going to start out with 2 cups of it. I usually find 2 cups makes me about 5 or 6 rolls. So, I got our Dutch oven here. We're going to just rinse the rice first. Cold water. Just give it a little shake there. And then I like to give it a little run around with my hands here, right? We're going to repeat this process 3 times. Strain it out. Rinse it again. And you'll see, guys, your water, it's really cloudy. So we're just trying to get rid of that cloudiness in here. Make sure that you get all the rice off of the side of the pot and get it down into the water and have it all laid out nice and evenly. What we want to do now is bring it to a boil. On my stove, I'm used to it, so I know that if I set it at number 7 for 7 minutes, that's going to bring it to a boil. Once we bring it to a boil, then we want to let it simmer for 10 minutes, and then we're going to let it cool off. We let it cool for about 45 minutes, and then we'll mix the sushi vinegar into it. Okay, guys, our rice came to a boil now. We're going to turn it down to a simmer. We're going to let this simmer for 10 minutes. Remember, this whole time, we're not taking the lid off, we're not stirring it, just leave the rice alone and let it do its thing, all right? Let it cook out and absorb all that water. After this 10 minutes is up, we're going to turn the burner off, we're going to take it right off the burner, and we'll let it sit for 40 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to go over to the island and we're going to start cutting up all the veggies. Okay, guys, we're over here at the island now, getting all our veggies ready. I've already rinsed everything off. I broke the ends off our asparagus, so that's all ready to go. So let's start with cutting up this cucumber. So I like using my big butcher's knife. Using the right knife is always key to cutting something up well. Okay, so I'll just start with cutting the ends off right away. And then I'll cut a cucumber like this into about thirds. Okay. Once we do that, we take one of these pieces, we cut it in half. Cut that into a quarter now. And now we take these quarters and we're going to just get rid of all the seeds here. Now that we've gotten rid of all the seeds, we're just going to take nice light cuts and just nice draw and just see how small you can get it. Keep your fingers away from the blade as much as you can. Keep them curled in and you'll get some smaller pieces like that. The more of the seeds you cut out, the smaller of a piece you're going to get. Okay, guys, now that we've prepared our cucumber, I'm going to move on to our sweet potato. For our sweet potato, I usually don't need a whole jumbo potato like this one, so we're just going to cut ourselves off a little piece here. Trim it up a little bit. Okay. I'll cut this piece in half again here. And now I've got a nice piece that I can sit flat. Now that I can sit it flat, I can slice it really thin. And so now that we cut them up one direction, we're going to cut them up into little slivers in the other direction. Okay, so now that I've prepared my sweet potato here, I'm going to go ahead and just throw a little bit of water on it and throw it in the microwave for about a minute. After that minute, we'll drain the water off, make sure that they're nice and soft. If they're not soft, we'll give them maybe another 30 seconds to soften them up. Okay guys, I like some peppers on my sushi rolls, so we're going to dice up this pepper nice and fine. Yeah, just go all the way around the outside. And then much like how we did for the cucumber, we're just going to slice it nice and thin, guys. And there's our sweet potato. Our sweet potato is ready. I'll check on that in a minute. So remember guys, with your sushi, just because I picked these ingredients doesn't mean this is what you have to pick. There's no wrong way, wrong ingredients. Okay? If you like peppers, put peppers. If you don't like peppers, don't put peppers. If you want to put carrots and broccoli, go for it. Make your sushi your own. So we're also going to need some green onions, guys. So we're just going to slice those up just like we would normally. I'm going to put a little cut down the root part here, the long way, and then we'll go ahead and slice them up nice and small. And then garbage. Okay guys, last but not least for the veggies, avocados. Okay, any of you who've already had one know how to pick them, but you're looking for something that's pretty soft, you know, that's looking not so green, and hopefully when we cut into it, it's going to look good. Oh yeah, right away, look at that green color, beautiful. Okay, I like to cut the end off like that, and then go all the way around. Do a nice circle. Now we've got our two halves. Look at that green color, that's perfect. We'll just remove our pit. Oh, and it kind of blew up on us. No big deal. We'll just pop that core out. Okay. We're going to use a spoon. We'll take our spoon and we'll go all the way around the outside here. Loosen that up. Boom. Flop that out there. Do the other half. There we go. If we want to keep this beautiful green color on our avocado, because just exposed to the air like this, they're going to go brown very quickly. So we're going to take a lemon and we're going to cut ourselves a little wedge. I'm going to take our wedge of lemon and squirt this all over it. Okay? You can use lime juice if you don't have lemon juice. Just some sort of citrus is going to prevent this from oxidizing. Okay? Then I'm going to take them and slice them up very thin for a topping. Okay, now that we've sliced it all up thin, we're just going to lay it all out nice and flat. Once we lay this out nice and flat, we'll throw this on a plate, throw this in the fridge for when we're ready to actually start assembling our sushi. Take a look at that, guys, right? Isn't that going to be a lovely topping? Okay, guys, now we're going to move on to our proteins here. The first protein I'm going to prepare is our crab. We have just some imitation crab meat here. I find it's very wet from the store after you've thawed it. And so I like to put it in a bowl with just a regular towel and just kind of absorb some of that moisture. If you don't absorb that moisture, you'll kind of have like a messy roll after. You'll have all this kind of water coming out when you're making it. So usually with these longer strips here, I usually do about 2 of them per roll. You can do 1 per roll. Again, it's all just personal preference. Whatever you enjoy, make it how you like it. You like a big roll, make a big roll. You like a small one, make a small one. Hey, what's up? I'm filming. So guys, the next protein we're going to prepare is some shrimp. I have these nice jumbo shrimp here. I'm just going to finish peeling them, and then I'll show you how I'm going to cut them up to stretch them out. Okay guys, we've got our shrimp peeled here. So I'm going to take our knife, and we're going to make a nice incision all the way down the back here. Okay. Now that we've done that, I'm going to flip it around to the opposite side, and we're going to make cuts right through this fish this way, right through the shrimp. And just nice, gentle, about halfway through, just enough to break through the skin. Okay. And you can see it's already starting to lay flat. Now we're just going to keep kind of turning it around. We'll go on a bit of an angle now. And we're just going to keep going around like this until we get a nice straight piece. Okay. The more you work on it, the more you practice, the better you can do, the more straighter and longer of a piece you can get. I'm happy with this. I like that. I'll do the same on this piece now. Okay guys, I have one more protein here that I'm going to prepare. We have this nice smoked salmon that we get individually packed. Very thinly sliced already. Obviously there's many other products that you can get that are very similar, but I found this one at the local grocery store and I'm a big fan of it. So now that I've got this all separated out, guys, I'm going to keep some aside for my rolls, and then I'm going to keep some aside for an appetizer here. For the appetizer, we're just going to cut these up into smaller portions. Sprinkle a little green onion on there, a little sesame seed, and finish it off with some soy sauce. Okay there guys, now I've got my salmon all set up here on our plate. So I'm just going to take a little bit of green onion, sprinkle a little green onion on there. Take a little bit of black roasted sesame seeds. Sprinkle a little bit of that on. I got a little bit of these wasabi sesame seeds too. Give it a little bit more color and spice. And then we'll just finish it off with a little drizzle of soy sauce. Look at that, guys. Okay, so we're just going to cover this up, serve that in a little bit. Okay guys, I got one more ingredient here for us, some shrimp tempura. I'm just going to lay this out on a baking sheet and we're going to throw this in the oven. Yes, I did cheap out, bought some already made tempura, but when you have all the time you want, you can go ahead and make your own tempura however you like. Okay guys, last thing here now to finish up our proteins is these shrimp. I threw them on a skewer just to keep them nice and straight. And we're going to throw them on our grill now. We have our grill already preheated. We're going to throw a little bit of butter on here. Okay guys, it's been 40 minutes now since we've had our rice settling. All that water's absorbed, and you can see we've got just one big clump of rice here. So I'm going to throw this in a bowl. Okay, and for our 2 cups of rice that we made, I like to use a 1/4 cup of sushi vinegar. Of course, there's many videos out there for you to make your own if you want, but again, I like to just get the pre-made stuff at the store. Saves a lot of time. When we pour our 1/4 cup of vinegar in, I like to pour it over the spoon, over the back of it. That way it gets all over our rice nice and evenly. Okay? Now that we've poured our vinegar on there, I'm just going to fold it in. And you'll see as you start to fold it in, the clumps start to break up and you get to this nice rice. Okay. That in, I'm going to keep this covered. So it's been 40 minutes that's been cooling. All our veggies are ready. Our meat's just about ready. I'm going to check on our shrimp and asparagus here. And then it's going to be time to start rolling these up. Okay guys, here's the last part of making the sushi before we finally get to eat it. So we've prepared our rice, we've prepared our veggies, our meat's ready to go now. We need some rolling mats. I like to cover my rolling mats in saran wrap. That way it keeps them nice and clean as we're going through the process. It keeps your sushi rolls just that much easier to roll. Okay? So the first roll we're going to make is going to be a spicy crab. I already have all these pieces broken up here. I like to put a little bit of this wasabi in there. So I'm just going to smear a little on the side here. Take a little bit of sriracha. Put a nice drizzle on there. And then we got some mayo here. Whoops. So we'll get a fork, maybe even 2 forks, and we'll mix this all up. Okay. Let's throw a little bit of green onion in there. Bam. Okay. Okay guys, we're going to take our sheet. There's a shiny side and a rough side. We're going to put the rough side down on our mat facing up towards us right now. And then I have a bowl of water here. I'm going to get my hands wet. Getting my hands wet will help the rice not stick to them. The next step is get maybe about a baseball size amount of rice. Maybe a little bit less, depending on your taste. And let's just spread this all the way out to the edge. Spread it as thick or as thin as you like. If you like a lot of rice and a big fat roll, throw a lot of rice on there. If you want a little bit of rice, make a nice thin little roll, then just put a little bit less on. Okay, so now that we've got that all spread out like that, give my hands a little rinse there. And so now we have that all spread out. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds on here. Maybe a little bit of roasted sesame seeds. Maybe a little bit of spicy sesame seeds just to kind of let everybody know what they're in for when they grab this roll. Okay. So let's go ahead and put our crab in here. We'll put it all the way over on one side. Spread it out nice and evenly. Okay, now that we've got that spread out nice and evenly, I'm going to throw some veggies on here. I'm thinking I want a little bit of cucumber and a little bit of red pepper on here. So I'm just going to grab a couple of pieces of our cucumber that we made. And again, as much or as little as you want. I like nice big rolls, so I'm going to put a fair amount on here. Okay, look at that now, ready to go. So we're going to just roll this up now. Okay, so as we go to make our first roll here, we'll pick it all up. We'll kind of hold everything in with our fingers. And bam, there we go. Now we've got a square. We're trying to make a square right now, right? If we take a look in here, we'll see our rice sheet is just meeting up with each other right now, right? So we kind of even it out, make sure it's nice and straight. Do that last flip. Again, check it, even it out. And bam, there we go. There's our first roll. Okay? So, to cut it up, we want to make sure we put a little bit of water on our knife. We don't want our rolls to stick. So we put a little bit of water up and down the blade here. And then we're going to cut it into equal pieces. So I like to cut it in half, and half again. This is going to give us an 8-piece roll. Don't be afraid to get a little bit more water on your knife in between cuts. And then once you're done cutting it, it's a good idea to square your roll back up. It just helps with your presentation. Again, get your blade a little bit wet, slide it underneath to break it free from your cutting board. Get a little bit of water on your fingers maybe so it doesn't stick to your fingers. And lay it out for presentation however you see fit. Again, it just comes with practice. Whatever you think looks good, whatever you want to try. Okay guys, we're going to start our second roll here. Again, rough side facing up. Get your hands wet. Grab some rice. Spread it out nice and thin. Okay guys, so far you've seen me roll 2 rolls where the seaweed's on the outside, but a lot of people are fans of rolls where the rice is on the outside. So I'm going to show you. I use 2 bamboo mats for this. So I've already laid out 1 sheet of rice and seaweed. I'm just going to throw my other bamboo on top of it and flip it over. Very quick and easy. If you don't have 2 bamboo mats, just be quick about it and you can flip your sheet over. No big deal. But if you have 2 bamboo mats, it'll be a lot easier on you. Okay. For this roll here, we're going to go with basically just a California roll here. I'm going to put some of our crab on here, some cucumber, some avocado, and some sweet potato. Okay guys, now that we've got our roll made here, so we don't have this all fall apart on us, I'm going to take a little bit of saran wrap and cover that in saran wrap before I cut it. So we just put a nice layer on there, square it back up with our bamboo mat. Okay. Okay, so now we've got our nice full log of seaweed here, our full roll. Always clean your knife and wet it down. Okay, we're going to wet it almost every cut on this one. Now we remove our saran wrap, square our roll back up, and again, wet our knife, get it underneath, get our fingers tips a little bit wet, and we throw it on here for a nice presentation. Okay guys, so for our next roll here, I'm going to take these nice jumbo shrimp that we grilled up, slide them off their skewer. Okay guys, for our next roll here, I've got our jumbo shrimp. I've already pulled them off the skewers. I'm just going to throw them on the back side of our rice here. Throw it down on the seaweed side. And with this one here, I'm going to pick a little bit of everything. I'm going to go for a nice big deluxe roll on this one here. Okay guys, here's some avocados that I sliced up earlier. I'm going to go ahead and lay these across the top. So to do that, we want to spread them out really thin. Then as we spread them out, we just want to keep them all just touching and looking good and just kind of reveal those nice colors. Nice green colors. Okay. So we have it laid across the top of our roll. Again, another piece of saran wrap. Right over top. Square it up a little bit. That'll help the avocados stay on there. And again, make sure we have a nice clean knife to start. Always be wiping it off and keeping it good, fresh. And let's get our knife wet. And again, we'll do this into 8 pieces, just right down the middle. Split it and split it again. Make sure you get all the pieces of saran wrap. Square it back up again. And put it on your dish. Okay guys, we're going to make one final roll here. We're going to use our salmon. I've already got our rice on here and a little bit of sesame seed. So let's go ahead and lay that piece of salmon across here. Some nice smoked salmon. Okay. With that, I'm going to put a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of asparagus, and some avocado. Okay, and then just to give this roll a little bit of kick, I have already a sriracha mayo here. So let's throw a little slob of that on there. Okay guys, we've got one final step here now. We've got all our rolls made. They're all on the table here. I want to add a little bit of decoration and make these a little bit prettier. So I've got some nice orange fish eggs and some dark red ones here. So we're just going to go put a sprinkling of these on top of some of the rolls here. Okay guys, and one last thing for some decoration here. We're just going to put a little bit of our sriracha mayo on. There we go guys. There's our rolls. Dinner is served. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more content, and see you in the next one.